Every paw has a story, some filled with love, some with pain, but all of them deserve hope. Welcome to Tales of Hope, voices for the voiceless, hope for every paw. Here, we speak for those who can't, and together, we create hope, one paw at a time.
Compassionate, caring, knowledgeable. When I put up an ad saying I need 2 vets at the shelter, priority, compassion and caring, people were laughing their heads off and say, what do you want, miracles?
Adding up to this conversation, can I ask, since you've been in this field for too long, what would you... No, to be honest, because as compared to what I am, I'm not even a pin drop. Given that you have so much of knowledge, what would you suggest to bring about the change?
Animal welfare must be part of the education.
I think a lot of people have been advocating, but I think it's not going to the right ears, if I'm not mistaken.
No, when I offered to do courses in schools, you're doing it for free. I said, are you charging the children school fees? Yes. Then I'm not doing it for free. Then you pay me.
Right.
We're not interested.
I mean, this is something I'm not, I've been looking at it. I've been talking to a couple of NGOs in terms of what you rightly said, that needs to start with the children. And I think...
No. The advantage is that having a bunch of kids go after a guy and go, shame, shame, puppy, shame, uncle, even the monkeys know your name, is quite terrifying, right? Have a bunch of children charging behind you. But we have to start there. Then you will get the feedback from the parents. No, I don't want my child to do this. Then you get the parents. Then you've got them. I've had kids bawling in front of me saying, you have explained about cattle smuggling from Karnataka to Kerala. My uncle and father, they do this job. They want me to inherit it. They are officially smugglers. And then the best thing, which of course, admittedly, I did have a good giggle, the smugglers went on strike. Where in the world do you hear about smugglers going on strike? And it's in the paper. The smugglers are on strike.
I think that is the pity that we have in our country out here.
I loved it. And then there, 6 weeks, no meat went to Kerala. And still everybody was eating meat. And when we found 1,000 dog heads in sacks floating down the river, they said we were troublemakers. So all the 5-star guests were getting dog meat to eat.
This can be a never-ending debate, to be honest. We can get on with this and this debate.
When we talk about the cattle transports, it's not 40 cattle in a lorry. It's what's underneath the cattle. So a colleague in Kodaikanal made the police rip up the floorboards. There was about 60 kilos of cocaine in there. We have ripped up floorboards. We have found ammunition. We have found 2 baby girls carried under the floorboards of a cattle transport, because at that time, if you had sex with a virgin, you were cured of AIDS.
Wow.
So they were smuggling girl babies into Kerala.
This is what brings me, what is the sort of resistance you face with traditional beliefs regarding injured animals, whether it's
There's no traditional belief. Every religion advocates vegetarianism. Every single religion.
That's true. I would vouch for that.
Christianity, everybody. So religion is a convenience. I've had priests tell me, I said, you go every Sunday and you attach yourself to some family for a Sunday lunch as the priest, uninvited. You're eating your way through lamb and biryani and everything. But I follow the Greek Bible, the Greek translation. I'm going, When I say you're following a book that has been written 300 years after the man died, apparently died, if you just read any religious book, it never says eat meat.
I think, to be honest, this is something that I advocate with my work even, because
And I love it when they say to me, but it's my right, freedom to choose. I said, then eat roadkill. That they won't eat.
That's so true.
So has anybody asked the animal if they want to die?
Nobody. I think nobody
What
has.
is their freedom of choice?
I think we humans have forgotten that just to satisfy our taste buds or our palates for a while, we go on killing them. And I think rather than saying man or humans have evolved, I don't think so. I would rather.
No, they haven't evolved.
No, they haven't, to be honest.
Then the other biggest challenge is finances. You see, people who run shelters or run any animal project, it is a full-time job.
That's so true.
We cannot go to work and do it as a hobby in the evening. It's a full-time job. If you can't do it, or you don't have the inclination, the time, the space, then support somebody in your local area who does.
That's a very good point you've made, honestly.
Then you can always, I remember I was in a bad mood, admittedly. Somebody donated 500 rupees. But send me a message saying, sending you 500 rupees, use it wisely. Just got me on the wrong day. So I wrote back saying, thank you very much, received your 500, bought food, have shit. That's what happens to food. We calculated recently, we have a shelter with about 450 animals. We have a rehab center where animals come in for rehabilitation. And we have a rehab center in Bombay. We have one in Karjat, one in Bombay. We are running around 3 to 4 ambulances daily. We have roughly 40 to 50 calls of injured animals every day, which we then have to take to the vets. We have to pay the vet bills. So we came up with an average amount of 60,000 rupees per day.
Wow. That's a serious spend.
And that is per day, and that is every day.
That's some
We
amount.
cannot say, I'm taking a break from fundraising.
That is so true.
I want to go 2 weeks on holiday, because the money is lacking then in the end. We have to work in picking up 60,000 rupees a day. That is the basic cost. That's not improving, building, repairing, maintenance, all that. Painting.
Oh, this must be a serious task. I can understand that because
it is. I have been in consultancy with several business administrators and consultants. Oh, do this, it'll be cheaper. Do that, it'll be cheaper. Feed them once a day. I'm going, okay, I'll try it for a month. But it doesn't work.
It's not going to work. That's true.
You have to buy this food, not that food. I said, fine, but yes, admittedly, kibble is not the best, but it is a convenience. But it's anyway, one bag costs you 3,500 rupees. Yes, I bargain like a fishwife. I will pick up torn bags. I will pick up damaged bags. But it adds, even at 50% discount, which rarely you get, it adds up.
It does. It does. I can understand.
I have 230 dogs. I give them kibble in the evening. So, even feeding them 100 grams of kibble a day, 200 dogs at 100, come on, let's do some calculation. 200 dogs at 100 grams of kibble is how much?
That's also a lot. That's a serious number. Just give me a second. I'll do that. You're talking 200 dogs into even 100 grams if we do. That's like almost, you're talking about what? 1 second, sorry.
20 kilos to 20, yeah.
20, yeah, close to 20 kilos in a day. That's serious number.
That's just 100 grams. You're normally advised to feed them 200 to 400 grams a day.
Exactly. I know that because that's what I do. And I know it's a real task to get these bags even. To be honest, that's what I have been trying. I mean, this is off the record. I've been trying to talk to a couple of companies who do this in terms of trying to get them to give out at discounted rates, because currently what I do get at a very good discount. The 20 kg bag I get about at 2,000 rupees delivered to my doorstep.
Yeah, which company?
It's the Maxi chicken and liver.
Okay. How much chicken and liver is in it?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't read the number. I think this.
You didn't read the small print again.
Yeah, I haven't. I think this is going to be very much, enlightening for me. I need to go and read that fine print at the back in terms of what's the
It
chicken.
will say animal protein.
Okay, I think I'm
Now,
going to
what
go
does
into.
animal protein mean? That means pet dogs, pet cats, whatever's picked up from the vet, small ponies, foals in America, like the milk foals, similar to the cattle industry. Horses are milked as well. So those foals are sent to the pet food industry.
Okay. This, I think I was not aware. So as I said, it's
You
a learn.
do realize that human beings milk everything. I dare you to Google now and you will see a mouse milking machine.
I think I'm not going to debate on that, and I will not even disagree, because given my experience dealing with humans, we have this.
We milk cattle, we milk donkeys. I love it at the moment. At the moment, donkey milk is on the rise. And I'm picking up donkeys off the road and guaranteed females. Everybody's got female donkeys. And they sell the milk by the spoonful. So you get an average, you will get rates between 2,000 rupees to 50,000 rupees for a liter of donkey milk.
Wow.
And then they'll stand in front of us and say, Hum aam aadmi hai. Why did you confiscate my donkeys? I said, I didn't confiscate them. They were on the road. Now, with all your caring, have you ever read the PCA Act?
To be honest, yes, I have. I have been going through that. I have gone through a couple of classes to actually understand about the PCA Act of 1960 and the 65 and the revisions that have come in.
So did you read up on the definition of ownership? What is an owner?
Now, the owner is... Okay. From what my understanding of what has been given to us is, the owner is, like, let's say for a simple, let's talk about small animal. If I have a dog in my house, that becomes, I'm the owner of it.
You're way ahead. The definition of ownership is the person on the other end of the road.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. If you're on a public road and you see a dog, a cat, a donkey, a horse, an elephant, hold the rope, you are officially the owner according to the eyes of the law.
Wow.
With or without the permission of the actual owner.
So are you trying to tell me the interpretation of the law which has been taught to people is also absolutely wrong? Because this...
Who taught you that?
To be honest, I'm not going to name the organization that I went through to understand this, the law about the PCA, the BNS 325 and all those sections and everything that they had taught us. For us, it was, if you have a...
Cannot, under any circumstance, in India, you might be whatever you call it, inspector, officer, animal welfare, high court, you cannot walk onto somebody's private property and confiscate an animal. You are not allowed.
Okay.
Having a card does not give you the right to do these things.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, that was a seriously enlightening moment for me. To be honest, Roxanne, I think of this thing after the podcast, I think I would like to come and visit your place and spend some time and understand more about all this. Now, coming back to the podcast, what we've been doing is the next section. What we talk about is the ABC programs. We know we have ABC programs for dogs and cats, maybe not implemented very well, but how does it apply to the large animals? I remember in the past.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Okay. So we don't have anything for them, to be honest.
Nothing.
So is it because of the lack of the government not looking at it, or is it...
You see, the thing is, the government's into breeding for some peculiar reason. They love to breed. So we don't have the vets who know how to geld properly, which is castrate a horse, pony, whatever, a large animal. They don't know how to geld. It is impossible to spay a horse or cow. So that doesn't happen. It is a fantastically expensive, almost impossible operation. While you open up a horse to spay it, you get kilometers of intestines coming out. And as it is, you never seem to be able to fit them back in again. You know, it is almost 30 years ago, Indian immunology and me, we were considering oral vaccinations, oral rabies vaccinations, which would be great for wildlife, fabulous for street dogs. Government won't allow it. Why?
Now, that's really a question to be thought over. I mean, why wouldn't we allow oral vaccination that can...
No, not us.
Yeah, I mean, the government.
Uneducated people sitting in parliament. For them, it's not important. And it's always dogs. No, any mammal can give you rabies. A mouse, a rat, a bird, a cat, a dog, a horse, a cow. It is a saliva blood contact. It doesn't have to be a bite.
So true. You know, coming back to my this whole thing, do we have sterilization programs for the big animals, or even that is not there or is not encouraged?
Do we have what?
Do we have sterilized? I mean,
sorry, I couldn't hear you.
No, you know, this is where we were talking about the ABC. The ABC. Do we have enough sterilization programs?
Okay, the ABC, the prospect of ABC, the sterilization. See, for 130, 40 years, the street dogs were killed.
True.
Are you with me?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Street dogs were killed because they were pariahs, according to the British. That every breed dog is a cross breed of various breeds. It's a pariah that is a true blue, purebred dog. Are Indies. And there are now genetical tests going on that the dingoes come from our Indian street dogs. Genetically, because if you see them, they look like our indie dogs, not the city dogs, which have been crossed by Labrador and German Shepherd and all that. We're talking about the Indian dogs in the countryside. Look at the dhole. That is our feral wild dog in the jungle. Do you understand? That has a society, a community. Now, for them it was, we are destroying rabies. It hadn't happened. Rabies was rampant. So Dr. Chinni Krishna in Chennai came up with ABC program, which he started in Chennai in 1965.
Okay.
And having the paperwork, having the proof, he went to the government, and the government ordered in 98 as an advisory for municipalities to do ABC program. Now, if you were going in the earlier years, you had to give up a tender at the municipality. I will kill your dogs for you, and I will charge you, I think the last count was 14 rupees per dog. So you first had to pay to get your tender on the table. The guy in the municipality, to put it on the table. Then you had to pay him back the 14 rupees under the table. And you made your money on selling the skin and the meat.
Wow.
All right? So that was stopped. How are we going to get our happy money? So a lot of municipalities didn't listen to the advisory because they felt they had to cough up and they were losing. Because it's a one-time thing. You sterilize an animal, it's never going to have puppies.
Exactly.
Right?
Absolutely.
And then you have, it became law in 2001. Tell me how many municipalities are doing it. So I'll give you an example. Me as a resident NGO in Karjat, I was told one day after the tender went that we will give you 5 lakhs to do ABC. I said, that's 100 dogs. You have 10,000. So now they've ordered 50 lakhs, which is given to another NGO. I said, fine, go ahead and do it. So now there's another NGO doing it in Karjat. They have not been given facilities. They try to do it there. You have to build the place. You have to do the transport. You have to pay the staff. You have to have trained staff.
So true.
And basically, it is a project that works. Now, the World Health Organization says we have 25,000 rabies deaths a year. Every time I see that, I say, where are you getting these figures from? They never answer me. Now, according to our NGOs who have kept, as far as possible, a track on it, we've had around 500 and maybe 505 rabies deaths in India last year, which is a big difference to 25,000.
Absolutely. It's like almost not even 1% of the whole thing.
The main problem is, I always say, 80 to 90% of rabies deaths and snake bites are due to stupidity.
Okay.
You don't have to die of rabies. It's unavoidable, it's a preventable. But if you die of rabies, then it's your own fault. Everything is available by the government. You get free vaccines.
Right.
But they don't vaccinate cattle. When I asked the vets, why aren't you vaccinating cattle? The owner didn't ask for it. Did you inform him that it was available? No. All our animals at the shelter are vaccinated.
Wow.
Every single animal is vaccinated.
I think this is where the whole point comes in, is about the awareness. I think people are not aware. Given there are so many things that I am also learning, right now from our discussion that you've been telling me. Coming to this is where I was going to ask, what are the misconceptions that we people have about, these animals?
Yeah. Women who run shelters can't get a boyfriend.
Okay.
Women who run shelters are crazy, are not normal. I feel I'm normal. You people who don't live with animals are not normal. People who will extra bring poison into their house, be it rat poison, cockroach poison, lizard poison. They call it medicine, but it's poison. Extra bring poison into their house and wonder why they get sick. I love my lizards. I only get cockroaches when stuff comes in Bombay, and I tell them, be careful, the lizards love you. You stick to one corner, you can live happily. But if you start wandering around my house, the lizards will catch you. And that's what happened.
That's a nice one.
I love my frogs. I do not have mosquitoes at my shelter, which get people very irritated. You don't have mosquitoes? I said, no, why? I've got frogs. I've got lizards.
Wow. This is really going to get me, I think, to be honest, it's got me intrigued that I definitely want to come and visit you one day.
You can come and stay. We have cottages. We have little rooms. Not 5-star. And you might have a couple of dogs there as well.
Well, I think if I come, I think I'll come with my wife and our 3 kids as well, because they would love it as well.
Don't bring your dogs here.
Okay.
This is not a hotel.
Right.
You can then take an Airbnb, but the thing is, you have to understand, when you're running a shelter, you're dealing a lot with herd illnesses.
Absolutely.
Distemper, kennel cough, parvo, gastro. We get vaccinated dogs with parvo because they went to some idiot vet. It's not an insult, it's a medical term. Perfect. People who have less than one figure IQ is termed an idiot or a lunatic. That's Perfect. A medical term.
Perfect.
And if you give vaccinations together and nullify medicines like parvo and rabies, then you're an idiot. Where is the proof? Yeah, you're not dealing with the proof. I'm dealing with the proof. People who go and buy puppies, I never understand that. They'll pay a fortune to a breeder. But when they want to get rid of the dog, do you think they'll give us anything?
No, they won't. I mean,
no.
From what what we've been seeing on social media, it's like they're just left on the streets every day.
Yeah. You met Loki briefly.
Right.
Right? He is a Tibetan Mastiff. At their source of origin, they are between 5 and 8 crores as a puppy.
Right.
And he ends up in Vashi with a watchman who sells him off for 30,000 rupees to a
Jeez.
young boy from Karjat. So he turned up with this dog. His mother took one look at him and said, "Not in my house." So he comes to me, he says, "Can I leave him here? I don't know anyone else could handle him." He's technically supposed to be between around 80 kilos. He's 65, but he came at 40 kilos.
Now that is something to really think about. I think we all need to ponder about this thing before getting a fur baby. The responsibility is not just a small one. It's a 14-year
Why
commitment.
would people bother? They're a commodity like their wives.
But this is something I'm not going to debate on, to be honest.
You can get rid of your wife, you get another wife.
I think with these.
The first.
Sorry.
How many times I've said to men, "Why? Well, I feed her, I give her food, I give her money to shop."
Well, that's the mentality.
If something is a nuisance, kill it. In Australia, there is a massive project to kill every cat you can see. Whether it's a pet or a feral, whatever, kill it. Cats are bad. Cats are evil. I had an Australian volunteer here. I made him sleep in the cattery with 180 cats. He was like, "Oh my God, what am I doing here?" We don't like cats from Australia. Then he put up a photograph on social media 10 years later of him holding a beautiful cat which he rescued. People saying, why are you holding a cat? He said, "Because I love them. I was taught that they're fantastic animals."
Roxanne, coming back to you, what are some of the biggest legal loopholes affecting farm animals' welfare as well as for the small animals?
Well, the trouble is, we have the animal husbandry rules, which vets go by.
Right.
I've been up to the ministry. I said, "Can I have a copy of the animal husbandry rules?" There's nothing written down. They seem to have nothing in Maharashtra. They're individual, like what happens to camels, what happens to this. But there doesn't seem to be a nationwide or statewide. But the law supersedes rules, right? So if you are going against the PCA Act, you should be charged and fined, which is most of the vets, especially the large animals.
Right.
You're not allowed to tie up animals permanently.
Right.
Cage, peg them permanently. They must have freedom of movement. Your chickens, your cattle, to start with. Care and prevention. What happens when they're pensioned off? They go for slaughter. And we do not breed in India meat animals. We don't breed. They're all the rubbish from the dairy industry and the leather industry. They're the ones coming up for meat. And we seem to make a principle of eating downed animals, which are normally not allowed for human consumption.
Can I ask you, what are the challenges you faced against getting the legal action against these animal abusers?
As everywhere in the world, it's not just India. It takes a long time to get anything legal in.
Okay.
It has to be brought in front of Parliament. Who's interested? We've got politicians running slaughterhouses in India. So who's interested?
And somehow, from what I...
decimation of our wildlife.
It's a very sad state, to be honest. I mean, this is what I feel.
So I say, do your best under what's available. So do your little neighborhood. Get your people aware in your neighborhood. Don't attempt to change the world. Just do what you can to the finances or time or facility that you have available for yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, this is what I resonate with. I think I resonate very strongly with this idea because, to be honest, I know a lot of feeders who go out of their way to do, what they can. But as you rightly said, do your part. And I'll be honest, as far as I am concerned, I've always believed I might not be taking care of too many strays or indies, but I do as much as my pocket can afford to take good care of them.
Exactly.
I'm saying very specifically good care in the sense giving them medication, giving them enough of food so that...
And then you see, for instance, when I started in Ooty, I was originally the secretary of the YWCA,
Right.
and I was horrified at the treatment of the girls in the hostel. And I took the whole committee to court, the
Okay.
whole committee. And their lawyer came up to me and says, "You are taking the cream of Ooty society to court?" So I said, "Yes." He said, "Yeah, cream needs to be beaten now and then."
That's a good one.
And that was their lawyer.
But that's the fact, I think, sometimes.
Anyway, so then everybody said to me, "Oh, instead of interfering with humans, why don't you start something up for animals?" So I did in Ooty. My children were working in a resort. The amount of times they got flack, not me, but they got flack. "Your mother's crazy. What does your mother do? She's a bad mother. She's not cooking you lunch." My eldest son took it. He's working. He can't turn around and say, Whereas my younger son would say, "And what do you do?" "Oh, I'm a lawyer." How do you explain to your children that you lie for a living and then get upset when they lie to you when you're giving it as an example? Then the other one says, "I'm a doctor." He says, "Yeah, but you only want sick people. And doctors are known to make people sick. We have the scandals every now and then, right?"
So true. Roxanne, I'm going to come back to this. Do you think there are Indian laws, or you believe, that need urgent reform as compared to animal welfare?
Every parliamentarian should take a 75% salary cut.
Okay.
Every parliamentarian. They have to sign a document that says they will only use government schools and government hospitals. Every single parliamentarian. We have the facilities. We have hospitals everywhere. We have veterinary clinics in every village. Just not maintained, not supported. Only encouraging artificial insemination, milk production, and egg production. That's where we start.
This, I believe, it needs
That's
to.
religion.
I think that is where I believe it needs to start right at the top. Not even this one needs to start right from the top and then come down to the bottom.
I have never seen anything more ridiculous than harassing farmers. What are you going to eat if you harass the farmers? It's like people complaining where air traffic controllers go on strike. They shouldn't go on strike. Give them what they want. Your life depends on it the minute you step into an aircraft.
That is so true.
Oh, yeah, look what salaries pilots are getting. Do you know how much pilots have to be educated? How often they have to go for exams? Every 6 months.
That is so true.
Don't whinge at other people when you're allowing your politician to get away with increasing their salaries.
Increasing their pensions, not to mention that.
Why would they get a pension? Who's told them to go into politics as a profession?
Now, this is something I can debate. It's very debatable. I love to get into this, but I want to be not getting
Let's stick to animals.
Yes, let's stick to the animals. Now, what do you think people can do in terms of reporting, the cruelty that happens towards them?
There is no point going to a police station in India going, cruelty to animals. Go to your cop station. Make friends with them. Kaisa hai? Would you like a muffin? Would you like a biryani? Would you like this? Would you like that? So when you walk into a police station with an emergency, "Hello, madam. Kaisa hai? Bacha kaisa hai? Fine. I've got a problem. What's your problem? We've got a cruelty case. Chalo, hum aayega."
That's
Make friends with your cop station. See their problems. In Ooty, they would say to the officers who were then transferred from Coimbatore, from Chennai, "She is the one who takes us to hospital. She is the one who picks up dead bodies in her car when there's been a road accident. Even human bodies, she'll transport in her car. She is the one who will bandage our feet. She is the one who brings us jackets and coats to wear in the cold nights when we have to patrol the town."
This is such heartwarming. I mean, in terms.
So we will help her.
Coming back to the question I would ask would be, how do you think our listeners can contribute towards animal rights in India?
Animal rights.
I always, Roxanne, sorry to interrupt. I always believe animal rights and animal welfare are two things. So
yeah, they are two separate things. Yes,
absolutely.
That's true.
So I wanted to know, how can listeners, contribute? Forget I'm not going to get into the welfare part, but in terms of animal rights, how can they contribute towards it?
Well, they don't harass people doing their constitutional duty like feeding animals. They don't bully. When I say to people, go ahead and fight it, they're going, no, my wife is being threatened, my daughter is being threatened. Give them the support. Stand up for them. Open your mouth. Write articles.
You know,
Do podcasts.
Interrupting,
talk about it.
Interrupting, this whole podcast thing came because of that. My 85-year-old mother was threatened by the society or the community that she lives in.
But it doesn't matter. If she wasn't feeding animals, they'll complain about the color of a sari. They'll complain whether she wears short slacks or a churidar. They'll complain. It's just bullying.
Absolutely. And that made me more resilient in terms of, doing what I need to do for these indies, for these souls. And I have stood my ground. And to be honest, I've had some support from some people as well, especially from Asha Ambekar. She has been one of those strongest supports in terms of getting AWBI, SPCA, and everybody to get involved. But that, in a way, has put the community at bay in terms of, it's like almost the whole society against.
Sometimes, honestly, Anil, sometimes you have to cheat. All right?
Okay.
I found some people bashing a python to death. Am I going to stand there and screech at them in my really bad Hindi or Marathi? No. I went and bought flowers. I went and bought agarbattis. I put them around the snake. I did it. And they're going, kya karta, madam? Tum kya karta? I said, oh, look, you've killed a baby. The mother is going to come and she's going to take revenge on your children. And you have a leather shop. Leather attracts rats. She was eating the rats. In the kindness of them trying to help you, you've killed them. Then I walked on. The next thing I know, I see clouds of smoke. So I thought, oh my God, something's caught on fire. No, the agarbatti man walked past and he says, madam, can you come by every day? So I said, why? He said, he bought up my whole stock of agarbattis. My shop is empty. And he's put it everywhere, the agarbattis, just in case the mother snake comes and kills his babies, his own children. Does it tell him to stop killing the animals? Then another thing is, we got a bunch of students. We dressed them up, saffron, black sheets, dirtied their hair, got them sitting in a society going, and may the arm of that person who did this and this and this will fall off. People going, what are you doing? No, somebody killed a dog. So now we've got them to see who killed the dog. And his leg will fall off and his car will not work. They're just a bunch of students. But it works. It works.
So true. Now, Roxanne, first of all, I would like to thank you for coming on this, sparing so much of your precious time and being on this podcast. Now, this is a section where I leave the open mic, where I let the guests speak their heart out, and even the pet projects, if they have something, or even if they want to make a fundraise appeal, I'm very much open to that. So please, can we have your heart out in this?
Well, we always have a fundraiser.
Okay.
That is it? Can you read it properly?
Yes, I can. But I would appreciate if you could send me this so that I can post it up with the entire thing, with the podcast.
Well,
yes,
I can put it here,
right,
for a while, so people can
see everything. Yes,
it.
Yes, perfect.
If they're interested, I am on Facebook under Roxanne Davur. I'm under Instagram, probably Parida or Roxanne Davur again. I'm literally the only Roxanne Davur on Facebook.
Okay. I think that is how I found you as well.
You see, the thing is, most of the NGOs people I know are getting older. They can't find somebody competent to take over. So before I started the shelter, I tried twice to form a trust. And I went, forget it, it's not happening. I had spoken to World for All. I'd spoken to Thana SPCA at that time. I'd spoken to IDA. All of them are going, maaf karo. No. We can't find somebody to take over our own. Then after about 3 years, Tarunish Balsara, who's the CEO of World for All, his partner in crime, Ruchi, had left for America. So he was doing it single-handedly. I said, why don't we team up? He has an umbrella outfit dealing with street care, ABC, education, a rehab center, and now the shelter is underneath the World for All banner. When I die, he inherits the land. So the shelter will continue.
Right.
Let me call him a minute. Tarunish! Oh, he's run off to something else. Whenever he comes here, he's running around crazy saying, please don't die another 30 years. I said, I might live another 30 years, but I'm not getting younger.
That's true.
You know, so move into a decent NGO and help out to take over. An operating NGO. Everybody and anybody can do it. You might be an accountant, help them with their accounting. Everybody has a tax here. You might be a fundraiser, help them with marketing, fundraising, social. And many people come say, I'll do your social media. I said, do it. But then I have to do so much work that I say I can do it myself.
That's true.
You know, education. We have a young man here, Vivek, who goes into schools. Vivek, come and be introduced. He goes into schools and talks about snakes. This is Vivek.
Hello.
Hi, Vivek. How are you? Good to see you.
Good.
Good to see you.
So he goes into schools, educates children, teaches them how to stand up to their parents, how to deal with snakes, how to deal with this, how to deal with puppies on the road. This is how to do it. You've got to build up a community. We are the NGO who started fostering in Bombay. Take an animal and do foster care.
Right.
We are the NGO who taught people. We have a very, very large adoption camp once a year called the Adoptathon, which is a branded name. And we do around 300 to 400 puppies and kittens at one time.
Wow. That's
And
amazing.
we do it continually around the year. Thank you. We do it continually around the year. Now we have Lucy. Lucy is an Irish young lady who has come to visit us and do 3 months with us. She is going on to study to be a vet.
Hi, Lucy. How are you? Good.
So she will also, she's been to the Elephant Hospital. She's been to, she's observed ortho doctors, Dr. Vikram Dave. She's going to do a horse course at Japaloo. She's doing the assistant to a vet course with us at the moment.
Wow.
So
That's a lot.
the only way is education. And then when she applies for college, she's got all this on her CV.
Absolutely. And I think nothing like having first-hand experience.
I agree. Yeah. It's been very interesting. I've enjoyed it. It's been chaotic, but it's been good.
Well, it will. I think in the longer run, it always works out quite well.
No, definitely. I've learned so much as well. Like, so much from being here. Even, how long have we been here now? A month and a half?
Month and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very nice.
She's even learning to do without her phone because her phone died on her.
I'm not learning how to do it that, and I'm barely coping.
But I think sometimes it's good to have a digital detox as well.
Yeah.
That's all very well. I understand that. Not when you're across the world and everything is back in Ireland. Know your contacts.
No, but I can understand that. But I think being with Roxanne out there, from what of whatever little that I've known from her, I think you're in safe hands out there.
Oh, I agree.
We've
Yeah.
had Israeli vets, we've had English, this year has been crazy from the beginning. We had Canadians from one end, then we got Canadians from the other end. Then we got English, then we got Irish. There are so many good shelters around the country.
Right.
When people are starting up shelters, I said, come here, look at what we're doing. Yeah, but I'm opening a shelter around the corner for you. I said, that doesn't matter. We are not competition.
That's so true.
You can't see us as competition. As long as we communicate, and we do have a WhatsApp chat for shelters. I'm getting dog food at a reasonable price from there and there. I give them the number.
I mean, that's what even I do. I talk to a lot of people because I know the vendor that I get the food from is the cheapest at this point in time in Pune. So I have
Yes,
been.
but you see, I used to tell street feeders, you're 10, 20 in that area.
Right.
Get together with your requirements every month and approach a dog food company and say, look, we are so many people. We want this.
Roxanne, I tell you, you've taken words out of my mouth, because that is what I've been trying to convince all these feeders, that why don't we all come together and, talk to these companies, because some of the companies, I know them directly and I've been trying to talk to them, and they've been also very upfront, is give us the numbers. Roxanne, I'm going to first of all.
Let's have a nice weekend. As I said, every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. Whatever you want to do towards a shelter, it helps.
Absolutely. Roxanne.
And as I said, we always need money. Everybody, give them the money, People used to give me money for medicine, for food. I said, what about the petrol to go and get the medicine? No, this is just for medicine.
Right.
What about syringes, cotton wool? No, just medicine. Just food for dogs,
right.
Not for cats. So don't do that. If you want to give it wholeheartedly, even if it's 100. I've got one woman who sends me 100 rupees every month.
Right.
I'm not going to say keep it. I say thank you. It's very kind of you to think of us. Because every 100 rupees adds up.
Adds up. That's so true. Roxanne, first of all, I'm going to thank you for sparing and taking this time from your precious time that you have taken.
I hope it helped.
It will. Now, I'm going to thank you for that.